Hey everybody, welcome to the newest episode of Capital Combat. The name says it all. I'm Hakeem Branch.
Rob Jarrell.
And today we're going to recap the Showtime Championship Boxing, which happened last night, October 26th, up in Atlantic City. It was a great card. Hope you guys watched it, but now you're going to get how Rob and I felt about the action. The first fight on that card was Deontay Wilder versus Nikolai Further. Let him have it, Rob.
Alright, so this was a mismatch from the time they said he signed the paper. It was a showcase, another showcase for Deontay Wilder against a heavyweight. Now, the point of bringing Further in was, one, they needed someone that could possibly go rounds with Deontay Wilder, and two, apparently there was no one that really wanted to fight Deontay Wilder. I mean, the guy has concussive power in his right hand, and he's been steadily showing improvement. He's still very raw, but there were some new wrinkles to his game and some definite improvements. One thing I like and that I got out of the fight is he has a pretty decent chin so far, because Further was able to get inside his guard. He was able to smother Wilder and actually caught him early with a stiff jab, which pushed Wilder back. But Wilder kept his composure, and once he started to establish the jab, he was able to make Further more tentative and to respect not only his power in his right hand, which he kind of smothered a little bit, but to respect that jab. And he was able to land a few lead hooks and a few counter hooks on Further as well.
Oh yeah, Deontay Wilder looked pretty good last night. I had a little issues with his footwork, but I think he just had to get his legs under him. I don't think he expected Further to rush him the way he did. And so once he got that down and he started landing that jab, I think like the very first jab he landed first was like, wait a minute, I need to back the hell up.
And I think that same one bloodied his nose in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, Deontay Wilder hits hard. I mean, that's the only way you can say it. I mean, he touches guys and their whole game plan just changes. He brings a whole new meaning to that saying, you got a game plan until you get hit in the mouth. Because Further came out there like a ball of fire, was throwing punches, nice combos, had him off guard. One jab, he stopped all that bull. And it was just, from there, it was just counting down the rounds. And I know Rob had texted me, he was like, yeah, they brought him in to get rounds. And as soon as that text went through my phone, knockout. I was like, he failed.
Hey, all his fights went to the fourth round. That's where it ended. I thought that Further, the way he looked, even though he was kind of conditioned and he was able to take the shots well and kind of have a awkward rhythm to try to confuse Deontay Wilder. But of course, Deontay Wilder started finding a home for that jab, which looked mightily improved, by the way.
Yeah, I would still like him to bring it back to his face, but
yeah, the
when
one
it's as accurate as it is, I guess, and you're as powerful as he is, maybe it just doesn't matter.
The problem is when he goes against someone athletic or someone who can get in and stay in and kind of bully him like a Chisora type fighter. It's kind of that same issue that Klitschko has, but he's a little bit nastier on the inside as well. He's more willing to fight, while Vladimir Klitschko will tie you up and try to muscle you. So I do like that aspect, but on his jab he brings it here. And if he goes to the body, he jabs it and completely drops. That is not good, because a counterpuncher will see that and put him to sleep.
Yeah.
But and he needs to show a little bit more head movement and keeping for people to get inside him, because we know he likes to utilize the ring defensively, which he does a good job. But once they're in there, what do? Another thing, you pointed this out, is that if he would just turn his hook over, he would make people think twice before, they're thinking right hand first, but if they have to go right hand and a powerful left hook that's turned over instead of slap, it's night-night for a lot of people.
Yeah, he landed
a lot more people.
Yeah, he's already knocked out all three of his opponents. So if that left hook gets cranking, like I know he landed a very good one before the knockout, and it looked pretty, But had he had the technicality down of that hook, he probably would have sent his head into the third row instead of just turning it the way he did. But he got the win. He got knockout number 30, a win number 30, and we'll just see who signs the dotted line next, and if they're going to be just another victim or if they can give him some trouble.
Personally, I would like to see him fight someone skilled that's going to give him a little bit, like maybe say Robert Helenius. There's other American heavyweights that are on their way up. We have, help me out. I mean, Amir Mansour is not on his way up. He's just having a hard time getting fights. But Malik Scott, they're actually pretty cool. And Bryant Jennings, who is still a work in progress, but he showed plenty of potential. These guys probably don't want to fight each other just yet because one, they can make a lot of money in the future, and two, they respect each other.
Yeah. So we'll just see where it goes from there. The next fight was WBO middleweight champ Peter Quillin defending his title against Gabriel Rosado. Now this fight came off the heels of Rosado giving Jalen Love all he could handle on the Mayweather-Guerrero undercard, which later was overturned to a no decision because of Jalen Love's positive banned substance test. And this is, I believe, Rosado's third fight in middleweight, and he's gotten better each time. Now, he gave Quillin all he could handle in this fight, and the question was how long would he be able to take Quillin's power, and would he be able to impose his will on Quillin? We got the answer to both of those questions. That's right. Because Rosado did take his power. He was dropped in, I believe, the second round, but after that he came storming back. He was really getting into that fight before a precise jab from Quillin opened up a nasty cut over his eye, and the ref and the doctor really didn't give Rosado a chance to fight back. They stopped it maybe like the very next round afterwards because the cut was very bad. But I see Gabriel Rosado's point, whereas they didn't even let him get a chance to work through it.
And not only that, if you ever seen Gabriel Rosado fights, that's the way he fights. A cut is not going to matter. Fatigue, he could be knocked down 3 or 4 times. He's going to come back strong. And a referee that knows that particular fighter needs to know that that's his style. You have to let him work it out. I mean, again, the cut was that bad, but I think he had the wherewithal to fight through it and to still be competitive. I mean, he was competitive throughout the entire fight. If you saw his fight against Gennady Golovkin, his face was a mess, and he was still coming forward. He was still in the fight. Well, he was still fighting. So, to be fair, they should have let him finish that fight until it got too bad.
Yeah, until it started really impairing his vision or impairing his ability to protect himself. They should give that fighter every chance that he has to do that. But I do see where they're coming from. They want to make sure he saves his eye. They want to make sure that, you know, later on in life, when we're not watching anymore, when we're not, you know, checking for Gabriel Rosado, that he's not walking around with an eye patch or a glass eye or something like that, you know, when all the lights fade away and, you know, we're not around no more, like I said. So I see the doctor and the ref's point, but at the end of the day, you still gotta let him do what he does, you know. He's in there begging and pleading like, "Hey, I'm a fighter, man. I worked my whole life for this. This is a title fight. Let me fight." So maybe give him another round, see how he does. If he starts to get beat up, stop the fight. But at the point that they stopped it, he was actually coming on still. So maybe we get a rematch. Maybe Quillin tries to get one of those other big fish at middleweight. We'll see what happens. Let's move on to the main event, which we had Bernard, now known as the Alien Hopkins, against Karl Murat, an Iraqi who now lives in Germany.
That's right.
That's an interesting move there.
Whatever works. We've seen a guy from South America and Japan. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're right. And this fight was very, very unexpectedly entertaining. We're used to Bernard Hopkins slowing down fights. We're used to him really dismantling his opponent with the more subtle nuances of boxing, like the footwork, different angles, head movement, different wily tactics that would slow the fight down to a pace that he likes. But in this one, excuse me, it looks like he was really trying to go for a knockout, and it led to fireworks and opportunities for Murat. Go ahead, Rob.
Now, Murat was actually started off the fight very strong. I believe the commentators for Showtime actually gave him the first 3 rounds. I personally didn't, but he was doing good work. He was getting, again, on the inside, he was pressuring B-Hop effectively. But there are those subtle things that Bernard Hopkins does that a wily veteran of him, like him, who's 25 years in the game, just knows. I mean, you're talking about a guy who probably has one of the best lead right hands in the game today.
Follow with the head.
Right. But, I mean, he was able to pick his spots. He was very sharp, as he's always sharp. And just started to come on as the rounds wore on, which is normal B-Hop style. But, again, like Hakeem said, he actually made it entertaining. And he was attacking Murat as the fight wore on. And one of the things that he's been doing, I guess at 48, he wants to show everyone that he can still whip these young boys' butts, in which he's actually been doing very consistently. So, I mean, you got to give it up to him. The man stays in phenomenal shape. 175 pounds is not a problem for him. So, he probably has as many fights as he wants to have left in his career.
Exactly. One thing I was really surprised of was the hand speed of Hopkins. I mean, he threw some pretty fast combinations for a 48-year-old man. And I think it caught Murat off guard as well. He showed a very good chin because Murat was landing some very hard punches on Bernard, but he took them well. He came right back with punches of his own, and he never lost control of the fight. And that's the major thing. So hats off to Bernard Hopkins. We'll see what happens with him next. He brought up the thing about Mayweather. I doubt that happens, but it'd be pretty interesting if it did.
That ain't happening.
Yeah. Alright guys, so that's all we got for you today. Before we go, I want to send a shout out to my man Jamel Freeman, who is the leader of the Power Circle Fight Faction. He's a fight agent out of Richmond, Virginia, who has a growing stable of fighters. So if you are a fighter or you know a fighter who's looking for representation, I'll leave his info in the description box so you can hit him up and get in contact with him, because he knows a lot of people. He's making moves in the industry. Alright guys, make sure you like this video, make sure you share it with your friends, and subscribe.
Definitely leave a comment, because we like to answer questions. And who knows, we get enough comments or questions, we'll answer a mailbag just for you.
Oh yeah, that's great. We love to do a mailbag, you know, just answering random questions, Q&A sort of thing. We could do a video log or something like that. Just hit us up and we'll get back to you. Peace.
This is round 1 and you've already lost. They don't seem to see that everything we've done is coming and cost. My fists are on fire, I perform till I perspire. My demons are in a rage, keep thinking that it's a game. I kick crime, hurricane, I told them I don't play, I'm liquid.
Black Street Fighter.